Hello, YouTube. We are here with Yassine.
Yeah, let's go!
What did you do recently, Yassine?
Okay, so basically, my team and I, we managed to get top 16 at YCS Costa Rica with the exact same deck. The team name was Water Beats Fire. So we all played Marincess. Not just kidding. Yeah, we played Fire King Snake Eye because it is what it is, but it is probably the best deck of the format. Pure Snake Eyes is also up there. Obviously, it gets hard carried by the Snake Eyes cards, which are the reason why the deck is good. It's not because of Fire King. Fire King is really just an engine. But yeah, no, it was really nice. I had obviously an amazing experience. Shout outs to my teammates. I went undefeated myself, so I'm actually really satisfied with the result. My score in the Swiss rounds was 7-0-1. I drew last round with Santiago, the legend who got 4th at Worlds, because the game state was just super complicated. I had a floodgate up, and none of us could really deal with it because we just had so many interactions with each other. So yeah, the game 2 was like 25 minutes long. But if time wasn't a thing, it could have been like either player's game. So yeah, and my top 16 match, I was siding for game 3, and the match was over because my teammates lost. But yeah, overall, just absolutely amazing experience. I'm really happy, and this is also good testing for YCS Sydney, which I will be going to, and I absolutely cannot wait. So yeah, that's about it. And obviously, I'm gonna shout out to my sponsors, Inspire TCG, repping the merch. Obviously, let's go check them out. Link will be in the description box below, as well as Dueling Guard. Use the coupon code YASSIN656 for 5% off. And with that being said, let's get right into the deck profile. So obviously, I am playing 3 copies of Snake Eye Ash with 3 Bonfire, 3 Wanted, and 2 Diabell Star. So these 3 ratios are very standard. The only one that kind of differs would be Diabell Star. 1, 2, or 3 doesn't really change all that much at the end of the day. There are some games where I bricked a bit, but sometimes you brick on too many Diabell Stars because you only have 1 layer of play, and having too many redundancy cards, it's just not really good. Because Snake Eye Ash plus Bonfire is not bad redundancy. This actually plays the game a little better than like Diabell Star and Wanted. This actually does nothing. Wanted is a Diabell Star that draws 1 card. That's the best way to put it.
Did you not find the third one would be better when you brick, and when you draw 2, you just send one of them for the first one?
Yeah, of course. But I mean, I'm saying that like because there is a world in which like you draw like way too many Diabell Stars with like nothing else, and then you get handshopped, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. So yeah, I don't know. It's if I play like the 3rd Diabell Star, I would have to like replace like a non-engine card maybe with it, which might make going second a little worse. So it's really just a question of concessions and trade-offs at this point. You win some, you lose some, right? So yeah, that is for the 1-card combos, and actually, well, Populous is also a 1-card starter in a way. This card can either do your Fire King combo or your Snake Eye combo. Snake Eye combo is Flamberge with IP in the Spell and Trap Zone and Princess Engrave, which is 3 interruptions. And if you've got the Ambler Whale and your opponent runs over one of your Link 3s like Princess or the SP, then you either don't get the SP banished, but you get the Ambler Whale pop, or you get both in case your opponent runs over a Princess, which would be a misplay. And it would increase the amount of interruptions that the Snake Eye combo can do to 4, which is a lot, but it's not average. And usually when I have this, I try to go for the Fire King combo, which is honestly is not that good. It's really just like Ambler Whale with Arvada and Princess and Garunix Engrave. It's not too bad because the majority of the interactions come on the opponent's turn anyways, and I think that's kind of fine. It's just that it does feel really bad to not use Snake Eye Ash, Oak, and Flamberge on your turn using Populist. You're really just going like a normal, get original, summon the Ponyx, get the Sanctuary into Island, and then destroy the Ponyx, go for Garunix, destroy Arvada, and that, yeah, it's not bad, but it gets you there. So yeah, the Oak and the Flamberge, of course, this is not the pure Snake Eye deck, so there's no reason to play 2 Flamberge, at least in the main deck. So yeah, no, there's some nice strategies that this deck can do. I think this is one of the most unsolved competitive decks we have seen in a while because it evolved so much since we first saw it in the OCG. People used to play it as an actual Fire King deck, whereas now it's becoming more of a Snake Eyes deck, and I think there's even more room for innovation. I don't know how you feel about this, Simon, but yeah.
I think there is room for the field spell.
Yeah.
For Temple, I think it makes it adds another layer of interruption.
Of course. That's the reason why I played it.
Oh, I didn't realize you play it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyways, so for the other Fire King monsters, obviously the 3 Kirin, the Arvada, Garunix, Onyx. At first, I actually wanted to play 2 Kirin, so I let some of my friends know how I felt about just playing 1 less copy of Kirin. Basically, Kirin just... any of the Fire King cards, they do nothing productively in your hand. They just sit there, and unless you already have your combo, then they don't really do much. Kirin kind of acts as a Called by the Grave / cross out for Valor and Imperm, but not really, right? Because you're removing your Snake Eye Ash body, so you feel like you're playing through a hand trap, and you feel like you're hand looping your opponent for 1, but that's not what ends up happening. Your end board is slightly different, and Kirin, the main reason why I really like 3 is because I want to end my turn with a Kirin in my hand, so I just feel really safe in case I get like Talents stolen one of my monsters. This card just allows me to dodge so much. Even though Talents does not target, even if I end up with like 0 monsters on the field, I can at least summon 1 on my opponent's turn. This floats, and then this interacts extremely well with Princess. And obviously everything else is standard and a necessity. I would not recommend trying to play the Baby Kirin in the main deck, definitely not a good idea. And then the Fire King Island and Sanctuary. Some people are playing without Sanctuary, and some people are playing 2 Island. And some people are kind of crazy, they're playing 2 Island with either a Skyburn or a Circle. I just think that's overkill. And then the Divine Temple that I showed you, as well as the one of Original. So the thing about Divine Temple is that there are some really nice combos that you can do with this card. You can either go like Island and then Unicorn Shuffle back the Island and then place Divine Temple so that you can scale, not scale, but like place the Flamberge in the Spell and Trap zone so that not only are you kind of safe from Cosmic Cyclone because they can't use it to banish your island to destroy your whole board, but also when your opponent summons a monster, you get to summon back the Flamberge with the Divine Temple and then summon back the Masquerena that you placed in the Spell and Trap zone using the Flamberge last turn. So it just adds a lot of interactions to your board, which I think is really nice. But that is not the reason why I am playing this card, because I am not playing Unicorn in my extra deck. The reason why I'm playing Divine Temple, it's actually a very bad reason. It's really just because I wanted more kind of free cards to be able to send off of my Snake Eye cards, so I wouldn't really feel like I had to neg like crazy every single time. But realistically, it's just not real. So moving forward, because of the way, very specifically, I use Divine Temple, I don't really think it's worth playing. But if you are actually using it for a specific strategy, then it makes sense. And if you are playing 2 Flamberge, you can almost treat this as a pure Snake Eyes deck and forget that you're playing Fire King cards and religiously play through Nibiru using only 1 card. But to be fair, Snake Eye Ash with the Fire King cards already plays through Nib. So that's the reason why it just adds a little bit unnecessary redundancy, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to revisit a few things about my strategy, but I think either way, like every decision is fine. For the non-engine, I didn't play that many hand shops because I wanted to play some board breakers as well, so 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, 3 Nibiru. I think everyone can kind of agree on the fact that these are the best hand shops that you can play at the moment. I've made a video actually saying that Ash is seeing less play because some people are scared that you can heat at it and then go into Princess and then extend. This is just like not real, right? Ash is just too good for you not to play. It is way too generic. It will honestly never suck. I've never been in a position where I was like, oh no, my one and only hand trap is Ash, I'm doomed. Not really, honestly. As long as you're not being like a moron and you're ashing like a Bonfire or Wanted when your opponent has 6 cards in hand, then yeah, obviously you're gonna lose. You're gonna hand loop yourself for 1. Your opponent is gonna make the exact same full board. But you just gotta be smart with the card, and honestly, it never really backfires. Like, yeah, sure, I got heat out for my Ash a few times, but it wasn't like my opponent was making an unbreakable board with 1 extra level 3 0 attack monster that really just serves as an extender, so I really couldn't care less. And yeah, Imperm is kind of like the god card because it doesn't lose to talent. And Nibiru is insane. The real reason why Nibiru is broken is because when you are going first, well, first of all, multiple things. Your opponent's last reflex is playing around Nibiru. Your opponent's first priority is playing through your board. So Nibiru plus your board is Exodia. There's no way you're beating that. Like, literally, this is unfair. It's kind of like Max C, right? It's like, wow, you have a board and you have Max C? Okay, yeah, let's go to the next game. So yeah, Nibiru for me, it was pretty much the same thing. I did draw this in a game 2 against Silent Forcer, the Voiceless Voids deck, because he scooped game 1 and I had no idea what his deck was. So I kept this in, and yeah, it made me lose actually. Yeah, it was the only card that couldn't do anything in my hand. And if it was like any other non-engine, I would have been able to push through an interruption, and I probably would have been able to win, but I won that match anyways. For the other cards, 3 Talent as well as 3 Cosmic Cyclone. I'm actually, it's kind of funny because I think Cosmic performed better than Talent. Talent for me, it's just, for some reason, I got impermed a lot, like a huge amount, and Talent was glued to my hand every time I got impermed. And I also drew multiple Talents a few times, so I think the smart thing to do is maybe 2 Talent, 1 Call by the Grave. That's, I don't know. Maybe that's just like anecdotal evidence. Like, oh wow, okay, it happened to you in one tournament. It doesn't mean much, but I don't know. It's just yeah. I think I'd probably change this moving forward. I know Jesse played like one talent in his UDS deck list, but it was like mainly a cross-out target, which I don't know if I really agree with that. And Cosmic Cyclone was really insane. I mean, this card never really sucked, honestly. Like, there's just no bad matchup for this card, except maybe against, like, pure Snake Eye. Like, are you really trying to Cosmic Cyclone the field spell? It's not that insane. It's not like Cosmic Cycloning like the Farking Island. But I guess one really cool thing is when they go Diabel Star set original, then you can Cosmic, and it basically just hurts them in a way that is very similar to Imperm, actually. But if they went Wanted, they can shuffle back put back on the bottom of the deck the Banished Original and still draw one card. And they're also not losing their grind game because they're recycling back their one and only original. So yeah, that's it for the main deck 40 cards. I'm not necessarily against the idea of playing over 40, but you gotta make it so that the ratio of like engine and non-engine remains the same. The reason why you would want to play it more than 40 would be because you want to drown the bricks. Like all the bad one-ofs, you just don't want to draw them. So yeah, all the Fire King cards basically, because they all suck ass. Anyways, for the extra deck, I'm on one Link Rebo, as well as the Sunlight Wolf, the two Charmer monsters, IP into SP. I mean, yeah, nothing here to say really. Hita is just like the best card in the extra deck. I think every Fire King player could agree with me on that one. This card just searches like everything. You can crash it and then search Aponyx and then crash another monster and then special summon the Aponyx. Which is, and yeah, it's fine.
Whilst that is standard to play each and every one of these, the only thing to consider is potentially a second heater. Did you ever miss the second heater?
Not really. I mean, how would the second heater really come up? Like turn 4? I don't know.
In grind games, yes.
Yeah, in grind games, yeah, maybe, yeah. I mean, it could. It's just that the extra deck is particularly tight for this deck. But to be fair, I think it might be even tighter for pure Snake Eyes if they were playing the Synchro build. Because they're playing 3 Synchro monsters and only 12 Links, whereas I'm playing 15 Link monsters, so yeah, spoiler alert, I'm not playing the Xyz. Anyways, for the Link 3s, the Heat Soul, this card was fine. It wasn't like insane, but it wasn't garbage. Double Princess, the second one is so important. I don't understand how people are living with only one. It just keeps coming up. And then Celine, Access Code. Celine came up, but Access Code didn't. Access Code is only really there when your opponent has like Nibiru and Joel, and you're like, okay, I need a way to like OTK you safely. So you go like Flamberge that didn't use its effect yet, and then you climb into like an Access Code using a Charmer into Celine, revive back Diabel Star or Veiler or Droll, which obviously I don't play. And then you go into an Access Code, and then you go end of main phase, they go Nibiru, and then you float with a Flamberge, and then you climb into a Dark, like the other Charmer, and then you revive back one of their monsters, and then you make a Princess into Raging Phoenix into Zelantis, and then you just OTK. So yeah, it's pretty nice. And then finally for the other Link for monsters, Appaloosa, Amblo Whale, Raging Phoenix, Zelantis. So the Raging Phoenix, Zelantis, OTK, I pulled off obviously a few times. It's just that your opponents always see the line when you're about to go for it, so it's like you win the game without even having to like resolve any of these effects. It's actually kind of funny, but yeah, people are kind of getting used to getting killed by this combo. And then Apo, Amblo Whale, I mean, both of these cards are insane. Apo is like particularly good going second. I don't know if it's just me, but it's really nice. You're trying to push your hand traps, and depending on how they play, you can just like trap them with this. And yeah, Amblo Whale is probably the second best card in the extra. Nah, that's not true. Princess would probably be the second best, but yeah, Amblo Whale is insane as well. For the side deck, the 3 Droll that absolutely never came up. I think I drew this like once against Silent Forcer. I didn't want to main deck it, because Droll against pure Snake Eyes equals you are hand looping yourself for 1 card. It's only good if their only play is activate Bonfire. That's it. Yeah, literally the only one. If they have like any other kind of hand, you're not going to be happy about the fact that you're playing Droll. Especially in a world where people are not really playing like Whir of Thou with like Magician Souls to draw a bunch of cards. They're not really playing Snake Eyes as a combo deck. They're playing it as a mid-range deck with like 15 hand traps and like talents and non-engine cards to the death. So yeah, Joel doesn't really shut down much of anything. 3 Ghost Bell, which also sucked. It never comes up. I didn't play against a lot of like diverse decks, honestly. I just played against like the same thing over and over. I had a lot of Snake Eye decks. And shockingly enough, I think I played against more pure Snake Eyes than Fire King. Yeah, that deck is everywhere. Yes, I know. And then for the board breakers, 3 Evenly. This card was good. I don't know if I'm going to keep playing it though.
What did you side us in against?
I guess the fire decks, but I don't know if it's necessarily correct, because they can end on like 1 fire monster, and that could be enough. So that's my issue, and it doesn't pair necessarily too well with hand traps. And whenever I had this, sometimes I also had a hand trap, so I was like, oh, am I hand trapping my opponent or am I evenlying? So just a little weird, but sometimes you can like prevent your opponent from getting to Omni Negate so that this resolves. So
personally, I think with the fire matchups, any of the fire mirror matches, you should be killing them on your turn, on the turn 2 and your turn 1, the first battle phase. Because what happens if you don't is that they'll out resource you with Flamberge, recurring, and everything like that. And this is not that much of an issue because they can SP banish the follow up with Flamberge, bringing it back to level 1s. Ash will search something. Bonfire might search something as well, and then they'll go go into SP. If you actually go into battle phase and use evenly, SP will banish something, and they survive and they have a lot of resources. Yeah. Whenever if I never got even lead, but if I get even lead, I would be pretty happy with most of the end board in the mirror.
Yeah, for sure. It's just that I guess some people might cite in like anti-spell and stuff like that, so you're like, oh, I want to take care of anti-spell while taking care of the other things, because otherwise anti-spell is just like you extend the handshake and that's it. So I don't know. This was really just there for like potential like non-engine cards as well, because they could also have Imperm, and I know for a fact that sometimes it doesn't matter what my opponent's like actual end board is. If there's too much on the field, you just lose, period. You're not gonna win just because you have like Talons, Cosmic, and a decent hand.
Yeah. I think this is better against the Viking Mirror because they don't put up negates. But even so, let's say if they have an anti-spell, which is your argument, then they can do the same thing with what I just mentioned with IP and SP, and Flamberge, and Flamberge recurring, and then they keep the anti-spell. So then it's still very unlikely for you to play.
Yeah, but it's not a standard end board. Like the IP into SP is something that they do sometimes, but not all the time in Fire King. This is especially standard in Pure Snake Eyes. Okay. In Fire King, the end board is a little different. It's hand dependent and it's also player dependent. It depends on like how you sequence things. So yeah. And then for the going first cards, double summon limit, as well as dramatic chase and Silvera. Summon limit, I won every single game. I drew this card. This card was unfair. But these I never cited in because it's only really good against like Despia and decks that summon limit do not do anything against. So you cite in these two, and then you can search the dramatic chase with the Populist, and then that gets you to Diabell Star, which then gets you to the trap card, which can negate Branded Fusion, which is Exodia. But yeah, again, never came up. And finally, Kurikawa and a Gave Dragon. So yeah, Kurikawa also never came up. This is really just for purely, I don't know. This is really like nobody's gonna play the deck, so it's like, is it even like a good decision to even play the card on your side? It just doesn't come up. And fortunately, this didn't come up either. So yeah, pretty happy. Overall, yeah, just again really good performance. So I'm really satisfied with the result. YCS Costa Rica is always insane, man. It's my second time here, and yeah, I want to say it's my second time doing well as well, but my second time really enjoying the country and really enjoying the experience. So I can't ask for any better. No, actually, I could have asked for a YCS win, but this is going to be for next time. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck profile, guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I'll try my best to answer all of them. By the way, just so you guys know, I am in Tamarindo with Simon until Thursday, so we will have to... Yeah, let's go. Yeah, you can actually see the view, right? It's obvious. I'm clearly not in Montreal, right? Otherwise, we would have like the snow and the storms and everything. But yeah, I will be on vacation basically until Friday, so you can expect some videos with, let's say, less good video quality, at least from my webcam, because I didn't bring my camera on me. So yeah, I will try my best to at least make daily videos for you guys. And yeah, that's about it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.